How are you both doing?
So good.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say congratulations on the movie. I loved it. You guys did a fantastic job, and I'm out. So,
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
That's nice.
One of the things, though, I was at the press conference yesterday, and I love the Easter eggs that are in the Pixar movies.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing what's in the antique store, could you talk a little bit about the Easter eggs in the film and the antique store?
Yeah, I mean, we've got this digital backlot of everything ever created at Pixar that you can bring up. And so our art and sets team really dug deep to look into everything that's ever been in any film and to try to select things that were appropriate.
Yeah, would it make sense to sell? You'd see this in a store.
Yeah, what would you see in an antique store? Yeah. And sometimes pushing the limits on what that would be.
Sometimes there are things that are, like, for example, Ellie and Carl's house from Up, the house that was picked up with balloons, has been shrunken down and is now a dollhouse for sale in the store. So there's things you'll recognize, but not in the ways that you think you
Monsters Inc. Scream Can, not probably something you would see in an antique store.
But you can buy one
but it's
there
in this one.
at Second Chance Antiques.
Well, my thing is that with Disney now owning the world and all the IP in the universe, kidding aside, can you put in other things? Can the animators sort of hide it and just not tell anyone?
Well, we do. I don't know if we should even talk about this. There is a...
'Cause I'm thinking Tron or Star Wars.
Well, there is a Star Wars reference. I don't know if you caught it, but
yeah,
there's a scene where you get to see some of the original Kenner Star Wars toys, because those are the ones we grew up playing with. And so I was like, those have to be in this movie. And you can see them for a split second.
In the pinball machine.
I loved the pinball machine in the movie. I'm a huge pinball thing. I'm always curious about deleted scenes. I could go on in 6 different directions, but what was the last thing you cut out of the film and why?
Whoa, the last thing.
Man.
Do you remember?
The very last thing.
Or one of the last things.
Yeah, maybe one of the last from the deleted scenes that were carved out that were kind of the most significant. Maybe one of those.
I honestly can't remember. I'll tell you that I remember we did so many different versions of the opening of this movie. From day one, it just was like, let's try fixing this and changing it into a fantasy version or a real one or different, like with Andy or with Bonnie. So there's just so many different versions.
One of them was a zombie musical fantasy playtime that Bonnie was having. That was pretty weird.
That was when it was Andy. It started off as a zombie thing, and he realized it was Andy playing, and then it turned into a musical, and it was because his sister Molly had run in and started playing along with him. And so the toys were even kind of confused as to what's going on here.
My last thing for you, I think that it's honestly a visual masterpiece. It looks so insane, the technology, what you did visually in this movie. Can you talk a little bit about the technology involved in pushing the boundaries? Because there are shots that are like, my jaw was on the ground.
I have no idea how they even do this stuff. We have
Pixar is always just pushing the limits on technology and what the render farm can handle. And this was no exception. We had a technical team of just brilliant minds that came together to try to see what amount of visual detail we could kind of get away with. Huge amount of effort went into that opening scene. Probably 2/3 of our effects department's budget went into making that opening scene with the rainstorm, just to make it as stunning as it could be.
They're geniuses. They're wizards. I remember talking about this opening scene. We wanted to feel so dangerous to these toys, and they're like, got it. And they'd come back and say, how's this rain look? Oh my God, that looks amazing. So they're so good at what they do, and they support the story in such a great way.